and welcome to Transformation Now. We are dedicated to education, inspiration, accountability in life, relationships, finances, in order to help you really grow. And that's why it's so important for us to be authentic and transparent as we help you find more of you in your life. And so we just really work with help, hope, humor, and heart, and you're going to love our program today.
Hi everyone, exciting program today. Transform your life and health. Our journey with Michelle Kaiser. Gaining business and financial success, triumphing over incredible obstacles. Let your life change with us today. Michelle?
Hi.
Okay, today is part one of a program that we're doing with Michelle because she has such an outstanding program, and it's really astonishing what she's gone through in so many areas of her life, and whether it's critical health issues or just things, obstacles that happen to her along the way. And so what we're going to do is talk about her struggles and her triumphs and the awesome things that she's doing now that are really impacting the lives of everyone she meets. And so just a lot of fantastic things that she now will share with us about her thriving business. So what I'd like to do now is introduce myself first. I'm a founder, producer, and host of Transformation Now, which is a division of SoaringHigher.rocks. And as a speaker, trainer, and writer, I've just really felt so important to really impact people's lives. And so we have our information here to be happy to share with you, and a lot of life and career transforming programs. And they are programs that you can start immediately, but will also last a lifetime.
And my name is Carmelita De La Guardia, and I am the co-host and coordinator of International Affairs, Women's Issues actually. I am a singer, international cabaret is my specialty. Also English and Spanish translator here in Omaha and in Fremont.
Yes, and now I'm so excited to introduce our guest for today, Michelle Kaiser. She's the owner of Omaha Bakery, which is astounding in the cakes, the desserts, the sandwiches. She's doing a lot of ketogenic items right now, which you're going to hear more about, that are very popular. Michelle was actually recruited to be on the 2018 Food Network baking competition in the spring, which was absolutely fantastic. And so we're very excited to have you here today, Michelle. And just get ready for an absolutely fantastic program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How was it that you started?
How did I get started in baking? It really started at a very young age on a farm. My parents were farmers and my grandparents were farmers, and we lived so close to my grandparents that every Friday after school I would go to my grandparents' house, and my grandma and I, we'd make a list of the things that we were going to bake. Then we would make a list of the things that we needed to get at the grocery store, and my grandpa and I would head into town and grab those items, and when we'd come back, Grandma, of course, would go through the list, making sure we had everything because she didn't drive. So if we were missing a key ingredient like butter or flour or whatever, baking powder, anything, if we didn't have it, then we didn't want to be in the middle of a recipe and not have those items. And so every Saturday morning, Grandma and I would start baking as soon as Grandpa would head out to the field, and we would bake all day long, whatever was needed to last through the weeks, because a lot of people know this, but a farmer eats breakfast, then they have 10 a.m. coffee and have a snack with that, then they eat lunch at noon, and then they come back for 2 o'clock coffee, and they have another treat, and then they eat supper around 5:30, and then they have dessert before they go to bed. So Grandma and I would prepare the desserts needed to last a week, and the love that she showed me in that kitchen and the patience. I wasn't tall enough to see in a bowl, but Grandma would get the chair and I would stand on the chair and be looking in the bowl and cracking the eggs and sifting the dry ingredients while she would measure. And as I got older, it was more grandma sat and watched while I did it. So it started out, she taught me, and then over time span, the older I got, I was able to do it on my own, and she would just sit there and observe and taste and make sure that it was what she wanted it to be when we were all done. But it was so much fun spending that quality of time with her. And my mom's, that was my dad's mom. My mom's mom, she was a wedding cake decorator in Salina, Kansas. And so I would get to go there during the summer months and go spend time with her. And I wasn't as much hands-on with her. I was the one that sat by and watched and observed and just really got to do the tasting and then watch Grandma perform beautiful works of art on cake. And both of my grandparents, my grandmas, they inspired me to who I am today. They set my morals, they taught me kindness, they taught me love, they taught me all the important lessons that I think that grandparents can teach their grandchildren. And sometimes today I feel like our kids are lost in technology and a society that takes away from that. And my best memories of my childhood are those spent with my grandparents. And I can only hope that I can continue to teach those life lessons to my grandkids someday.
You have such a beautiful heart for that. And you know, as I've gotten to know Michelle too, I mean, how she impacts people's lives because she has a heart to give and all the things that I didn't have grandparents to do that. So I think that's awesome, and you're taking those lessons on and sharing them with so many people. And there's a lot of people that didn't have grandparents, and if you think of young people nowadays, that you can also influence them because of what you learned and how you're sharing. I just think that's awesome, because I really believe in my heart you're going to be impacting a lot of younger people too with the things that you received and now you're passing on.
It's true, because you know we're learning, you know, like all this technology is coming out. And I am not tech savvy. I never pretend to be, but my fear is that our children and our grandchildren are getting lost to today's technology.
Yes.
Because it's too easy to pull out a game or on a phone or something for a child to interact with or an adult to interact with, and they're lacking in the communication skills that are out there for them.
Yes.
And the best life lessons that I ever learned in my life were those that were taught in a kitchen with patience and love and compassion. And those things are, I feel like we're losing them, because in today's society, I'm seeing little ones given a phone just to preoccupy them, to look at something or watch something or whatever, or parents that are so engaged on their phones that there's not as much, you know, interaction. And that concerns me as a mom, as a grandma, and I always think, how can I be better? How can I do better and teach better practices? And remind people, let's not lose those special lessons that were taught in the kitchen so long ago. And how can I be an inspiration to others to take their, you know, if you're a grandma, take those kids in the kitchen. If you're a mom, take those kids in the kitchen, because those are those special moments that you can't get yesterday back.
That's right.
It's here now. Today's here now. You're not going to get yesterday back. So let's live in the moment and let's teach those great lessons that are out there.
Absolutely. That is so important. And yes, with the cell phones and everything now, people have really lost that. And even my background in human resources, I've seen how, what you're saying, the lack of communications, they don't know how to communicate. They don't really know how to go out and get a job and be comfortable doing that, because it's always cell phone, cell phone, cell phone. And so, yes, there's a lack of so many skills there. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
You know, we talked to you about defining confinements, being free of confinements, and we're going to talk about that more in the second program. But I know you shared some things, even I believe with Fremont and the bakery. Would you just kind of talk about being free, getting unstuck from where we are right now, where you were right then?
Sure. Well, I'm a firm believer that we have to give everything to God. God will give us what we need. And I do believe that the things that happen in our life, it isn't because God says, hey, you deserve to fall on your butt or whatever. Like, it isn't that, but we're given life lessons. And the reason that we're given a life lesson is because we're going to learn something from that. And if I have a struggle in my life, I'm going to be able to take that struggle and help the next person with it. So we can say, why did God do this to me? But that's not the right approach for it. The better approach for something of that nature is to say, what is God trying to teach me from this? Or what's the lesson here? Because then I can take that and I can help the next person. So being a business owner, I owned a lot of Brownie's Bakery for 6 months in Arlington, 7 years in Fremont. And during that entire time, I never took a paycheck. Every penny I made went to pay my bills. And I opened the business when the economy was tanking. But I felt in my heart of hearts that God had a purpose for me. And I really wasn't certain what that was. I felt like I was doing the right thing. I was living the motions and doing and doing and doing. And when it really came to be like, what am I doing with my life? I'm working so hard. My husband can't work enough to provide. The price of gas was over $4 a gallon. We had no money to just for the basic necessities to provide for our family. I found a side of darkness that was really sad. And I just started praying every night in the midst of my tears, God, tell me what you want from me. I need to know, what do you want, you know? And one night, in the middle of the night, in the middle of tears and sadness and depression, I heard God say, tell your story. And I remember thinking, wait, I'm not that perfect Christian, and God doesn't speak to me. He speaks to those who are perfect in his eyes. And then I thought, wait, you're like saying you don't want to believe that God just spoke to you. You can't deny him. He's here and he's telling you. Tell your story. So I thought, okay, God, what story do you want from me? I need a story. Because if you want me to talk about you, there's got to be a story to tell here. And so I prayed and prayed for a story. And about 5 weeks after that moment when I heard him say, tell your story, I had a lady come in my bakery. And it was on a Tuesday. And she said, I'm here for 2 peanut butter cinnamon rolls. And I said, it's your lucky day. We only make peanut butter cinnamon rolls on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays because we can't sell them any other day of the week. But today somebody ordered a dozen, and whoever panned them up put 14 rolls on this tray. So I'm proofing and baking them, and I'm thinking, I can't sell 6 cinnamon rolls and 6 caramel pecan rolls, and here I have 2 extra peanut butter rolls, and now you come in looking for them. And she said, I drove from Council Bluffs. I said, you drove 45 minutes each way to get 2 peanut butter rolls. Why? And she said, well, on Saturday night, I was with my best friend, and she's dying of cancer. And I said, if you could have one food in the world, what would it be? And she said, I want a peanut butter cinnamon roll from a lot of Brownie's Bakery.
Oh my gosh.
And I believe that God brought her and gave me that story. So then I realized, okay, maybe I'm doing something right, and God's putting people in my life for a reason. And we had other stories just like that, where there was everything kind of was wrapped in cancer, comfort, and food. That's kind of where each of these stories were coming from. And I realized that God gave me a purpose. And once I found, I'm 52 now. And once I was in my late 40s, I'm finding my purpose in life. And that's to inspire others and give them comfort through food and environment. And I really believe people come to a bakery to celebrate something, or when they feel sadness and they need happiness. So if I can create an environment that's going to make people feel happy inside and love. And like, I want them, when they come in my bakery, I want them to feel like they're my family. And I want to love on them, because you know what? We don't know what people are going through in their lives.
No,
and I want to be that inspiration that gifts others, that speaks through God.
So Michelle, with this great heart that you have, what other activities are you involved with?
Well, you know, I'm very fortunate to be able to help some nonprofits that are near and dear to my heart. And I do public speaking. When I get the opportunity, I speak from my heart with that. I was recently on the Food Network, as mentioned, and I'm developing new products and coming up with, I've went on the keto lifestyle a year ago, July 9th, and I've lost 95 pounds by doing this. And I have developed a whole line of products. And so my life is pretty busy. I am in hopes to be able to ship these items in the next few months at a price that people can afford, because that's really the key, you know. And then I'm working on a book. God gives me what he wants me as needed. And that's really, that's kind of my life. I am living my best life right now through inspiration and helping others, and really surrounding myself with people who can lift me and support my goals and my dreams that I'm trying to do, as well as me with them.
And that's so important, to have people around you that support you, positive, you
Yes.
know, like certain things, well, like what happened to me when I was, you know, in my music career. But anyway, we all need that positive support.
If the people around you support you, you feel more confident in sharing your goals. And if you share your goals, then you can make them happen, and you can see them in the near future. And that's really what I feel free now, because I'm not restrained anymore by not knowing the unknown of, why am I here on this earth? I now know God has my purpose, and he wants me to help others.
And you're fulfilling it as you listen to him, when he said, I want you to tell your story, because you were stuck, you were confined where you were. And because of that, he's just really opening all these doors. And again, it's kind of listening to God. What do you want me to do? You know, I've done that. Carmelita's done that, to really do what our calling is. And then there's an anointing on that. So it's not that same struggle. Yeah, we work on it, but sometimes we have to shift and we have to move. And as I was looking over notes this morning, I saw, you know, moving from one area to another, one direction from another. You moved from Fremont to Omaha. Everything started to change in your business. But the word move just kept staring at me. And so I thought, okay, what's this all about? And then it was like God was saying, well, you know, when you move physically, you know, you've got to get rid of the stuff you don't want, or you should, and the things that are holding you back. And going to a new place, you physically have to pack, which means, I'm saying, pack up your good stuff. Pack up the things that should go with you. You've got to let go of stuff, have a garage sale or whatever, let go of that. And then you literally have to get in the car, get in the moving truck, and move. And so I felt like God was showing me, in your case, you literally followed that. You moved to Omaha. You moved on to what he was telling you to do. Carmelita's moved on into her translating and her music that she does a beautiful job on. I've moved into more just saying, okay, God, what do you want? Let's go with this, with the books and the seminars and everything. And here it is, God. And when we really follow that, it's like we literally have to move. We can't just sit there and go, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You know, for 20 years, we have to pack up and move. And so I really thought about that when you shared that earlier. And we talked about embracing your accomplishments, and I know how important that is, because sometimes we get in a rut. I know I did a lot, and I know Carmelita has struggled with this too, but, well, I'm still not good enough. This isn't quite right. This isn't what I wanted to do, or what are people going to think of me? But embracing your accomplishments. So what are some thoughts you have on that?
Well, I think that as we grow inside in our faith and in setting our goals, I think that I think I'm growing every day. I'm slowly getting thinner, but I'm growing as a person because my self-confidence is now coming out because I'm no longer confined to this lost soul that really didn't know where their purpose was. And now that I'm free. There's like, I am a child of God. I love God. I am here to help others. I have a purpose. And with all of that, there's nothing holding me back. Like, bring it on. You know, we're always going to have the people who doubt us, that are jealous of us, or whatever it is. This is
so true.
And it hurts. It hurts us. You know, there's nothing more hurtful than somebody who sabotages our business, our self-worth, or anything like that. And surrounding yourself by people who support you and love you and push you to be your best is the best way to overcome self-doubt. And I have rid myself of anything like that that just isn't healthy for me. And I believe that that's helping me accomplish my goals and feel confident when I tell, hey, this is where I'm going to go.
Excellent.
I'm not going to wait for something to happen.
Amen.
I'm going to make it happen. Because those of us that make it happen, we're the ones that are achieving our goals.
And we're set free. Absolutely.
Yes, free of everything.
Could you give us tips, or could you tell, you know,
We've got
what
about
is it?
2 minutes. We can.
Yeah.
Sure. So I guess my tips is you have to believe in yourself. That's the most important thing. You have to believe in you before you can expect others to believe in you. And that sometimes that's really hard. And you have to look in that mirror and say, you know what? I believe in me. I believe in me. And finding your purpose is so important with that. Not giving up. It's so easy to give up.
Yes, it is.
But those who don't give up are the strongest. So I get asked a lot. So you're still in business, 10 years plus in business. You moved your business from Fremont to Omaha, rebranded, remarketed, all of that. How did you do that and not want to give up when we're in a society and an economy where people just walk away? And I'm like, failure's not an option. Giving up isn't an option.
Hear that, folks?
And that's it. You don't give up if you believe in what you're doing. And you can't expect others to believe in you if you're not willing to believe in yourself. And that's my takeaway. You want to make a business happen. You want to create something. Believe in yourself, because then you're going to portray it with such strength, and you're going to build your own self-conscience of, I can do this, and nothing's holding me back.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Thank
and
you.
just to wrap up here too, you know, we're talking a little bit about merging your talents into your career, into your life. You know, Carmelita did that with her singing, with her beautiful piano playing, and so now she's brought that in, and being able to speak Spanish, you know, very proficiently. God brought all those things into her life that she now uses very effectively. You know, with Michelle, she grew up to be with loving grandparents and was able to learn a baking career that now is just really, really, really going out there. And just to wrap up, you know, I read a story of how we take things that are really us and be able to merge them into our life and our business. And one was about a lady who was teaching people and managing people on, like, it was, I don't know, Medicare insurance claims or something like that. But she loved to tell jokes. She liked to draw cartoons. And you think, well, how would you merge that in with, you know, what she was doing? But she did. So she made learning all about insurance and all about claims very fun as well, because she was telling jokes and doing great things along with it. And so that's what we can do. Think about what you can do to merge your own true talents in with what you're doing for a regular career. And now, just in wrapping up, I want to invite you to see our next program, because Michelle's going to be joining us again and really talking about her own metamorphosis and some real miracles and things that happened into her life as she goes forward with what God's called her to do. So we'll see you next time. And remember, God loves you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.